This is the Good Government Show.
Oh, we do a lot at USDA, and certainly with USDA rural development. USDA touches almost every aspect of our lives across the country here in the United States, but also we do a lot abroad as well. We pride ourselves of trying to provide the first rung on the economic ladder. Certainly in rural America, there are a lot of challenges that, sometimes go unaddressed. Now, I always say government cannot address everything, and it shouldn't address everything. He said, just bring a notebook and I'll tell you how politics work. I'll tell you how things get done in the government. The government makes a difference in your life, day in and day out.
Today's guest says the U.S. Department of Agriculture is one of the most nonpartisan departments in federal government. When you listen to him, he just might be right. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm Dave Martin. First, help us share the message of good government by liking us and sharing us where we are on your favorite social media. Make sure to review us and send our show everywhere. We all need to talk about good government. We are. Basil Gooden is the former undersecretary for rural development for the Department of Agriculture. He's currently a fellow, one of the government experts at the National Academy of Public Administration. He's the former Secretary of Agriculture and Forestry for the Commonwealth of Virginia, and he's a Black Angus cattle farmer. You'll hear about that. Housing may not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think about the Department of Agriculture, but as Basil will explain, they help Americans not only find a house, but stay in their house. The USDA also provides loans and guarantees that help businesses and communities thrive. See, it's not just farming they deal with. And he says when you cut jobs at a federal agency, it's not just the loss of one job, but it's the impact of losing the experience and the overall effect it can have on all of us. Coming up, Basil Gooden, former USDA Undersecretary, and coming up, a little hope for the future. We have a new partner here on the Good Government Show, HelloNation. This is a new digital magazine that showcases the best of cities across the nation. We'd all prefer if good news traveled faster. At HelloNation, positive stories don't just get told, they get amplified. HelloNation helps businesses, leaders, and communities share positive stories that matter, building trust, credibility, and meaningful connection. Through professionally produced podcasts, digital features, and targeted distribution, HelloNation positions you as the answer regular folks are looking for, while expanding and scaling your digital footprint across the platforms that people trust. Good news deserves momentum. Your city or your business can help spread the word of good news across the nation. At HelloNation, they don't just have advertisers, they have advertisers. Editorial content from trusted community leaders and cities that are helping spread the good news. Let HelloNation lift you up and lead the conversation. Visit HelloNation.com to learn more. Once you wrap up this episode of the Good Government Show, give a listen to our friends over at Good News for Lefties. This daily podcast highlights news stories that show there's more good news out there. Other people in government are really trying to do the right thing. That's Good News for Lefties. Listen where you're listening now. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm happy to have with me Basil Gooden. He's the former Undersecretary of Agriculture for Rural Development for the USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture. Welcome to the show. Thanks.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to have you. So we are here at the National Academy of Public Administration. You've been a fellow for 8 years. Just briefly, what's your work do with the National Academy of Public Administration? What do you do here?
Well, again, thanks for this opportunity just to talk a little bit about what I've done, about what good government does and what public administrators do. Here at NAPA, we actually look at issues, challenges that face municipalities, local government, academics, and we really try to provide some solutions. And really, we are able to get together a group of experts to really address some of the concerns we see that's impacting the field of public administration. So I'm honored to be a part of NAPA as a fellow and honored to try to provide some insights into some of the issues impacting public administration.
So you try to make good government better government.
We do, absolutely. We do it every day. That's what keeps us focused and engaged.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about your history. I know you had a long history, first in state government in Virginia and then with the federal government. But let's talk about the Department of Agriculture, the USDA. They have a huge profile that a lot of people don't know about. There's, I think somewhere I read, and correct me on this, USDA houses more people than any other department in America?
Oh, we do a lot at USDA, and certainly with USDA rural development. USDA touches almost every aspect of our lives across the country here in the United States, but also we do a lot abroad as well. And so certainly, a lot of times when people think about USDA, they're thinking about food, they're thinking about, and certainly USDA.
Agriculture.
Yeah, agriculture. They're thinking about farming. I mean, and I'm a proud farmer rancher myself. And so certainly understand people's.
We're going to get back to the Angus beef thing. I got questions.
Well, certainly we can certainly talk about that. And,
right.
But agriculture, touches so many aspects of our lives. I mean, whether it's food safety and nutrition, whether it's really supporting farmers and ranchers, or whether it's really talking about housing and community economic development. And that's what rural development really focused on. The latter was really looking at rural America, understanding that not everybody in rural America will be farmers or ranchers, but we have a larger portion of the population out in rural America. They're not farmers and ranchers. They're business owners. How do we support them? They're healthcare providers. How do we support them? So USDA plays a critical role in addressing the needs in rural America as well, outside of farming and ranching as well.
We on the show have talked with lots of county commissioners from West Virginia, from Appalachia, and talked about some of the challenges of converting from a sort of a coal economy to a new economy.
Yes.
I'm gathering you had a hand in that, and let's talk a little bit about rural Appalachia. What's going on, and how does USDA help?
Sure. Well, I tell you, what we do, we respect the cultures in the communities that we work in. And so certainly in Appalachia, there's a huge propensity to work in the mining industry. And certainly coal country really provided a economic foundation.
Provided.
Right, yes. Provided a lot of economic driver. I mean, it just drove that region for quite some time. As that industry faces challenges and no longer provides those type of jobs now, I think it's incumbent on government and other entities to really look at how can we provide economic opportunities in Appalachia. And so we work with these localities, municipalities, really looking at infrastructure, looking at education, looking at really healthcare is a big issue out there, but looking at what opportunities exist. I really believe that each area, each community, they have their own solutions. They have solutions that can drive these areas. And so that's what we're there to support. We don't go in there telling what these areas or these organizations, individuals should do or need to do. We work with them to support their vision and making their communities what they envision that for the future. So we've played a tremendous role in Appalachia, West Virginia and Southern Virginia, Southwest Virginia, Kentucky. A lot of housing, and your initial question was around housing, and certainly at USDA Rural Development, the largest component of our portfolio was housing. And it
Which
still
is something you never expect out of USDA. I would have thought housing and urban development.
Certainly. No, absolutely. When people,
Are you building houses? Are you supporting people in their houses? Are you giving them an opportunity to buy a house? How does that all work?
We really...
Or check D, all of the above.
It's sort of all the above. We don't go out actually and build houses, but we do provide financing.
Okay.
And actually we provide direct loans to individuals that need mortgages to be able to buy homes. But we also, a large component of that is actually the loan guarantee, where we actually guarantee the loan that's provided by some other financial institution. And so, but it's government-backed loans that go directly to individuals. And so that is a large component of what we do. And David, what we pride ourselves on is actually reaching a lot of individuals that wouldn't have anywhere else to go for a loan. So we pride ourselves of trying to provide the first rung on the economic ladder.
Okay.
So they can, recognizing that housing is so instrumental in developing wealth in communities and in families. And what you see, I mean, when you can develop...
And they're invested in the community. They're invested on their street, their block, their school, their neighborhood, their community, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Home ownership does so much to communities. I mean, it improves the health, economic well-being, the educational levels as well. But when we talk about housing, USDA rural development also is in the multifamily housing. We provide rental housing as well. If we fund that and actually provide rental assistance as well to help offset if people aren't able to afford that. We recognize that, again, people face challenges. Yep. And certainly in rural America, there are a lot of challenges that, sometimes go unaddressed. And so we recognize that there are some needs out there in rural America that we feel that good government should help address some of these needs. Now, I always say government cannot address everything, and it shouldn't address everything. But there are investments in people and in communities that government should be a part of, because if it was not for government investing in that, the private sector would not invest at all. And we could talk more about that a lot of the investments in the portfolio of USDA rural development, it really, and we'd like to say again, at rural development, we have a portfolio with a purpose. It is really purposeful in really trying to sustain rural America, whether it's infrastructure, hospitals. And if we did not make that initial investment, private capital would not invest in a lot of these projects that we funded. So
because it's not profitable, because it's not a region people are flocking to, because why else?
Again, oftentimes it's not profitable. That the math just doesn't work because you don't have the economy of scale in a lot of these rural areas. And so a lot of times, you have to rely on gap funding from the government, whether it's state government, West Virginia or in Virginia or wherever. But oftentimes the federal government has to come in and provide that gap funding to make these projects work, whether it's, again.
Is this money well spent?
Because
you're spending a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
right?
No, absolutely. Oh yeah. So the processes that we go through to not only make these awards or to provide this money is so extensive. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I wish the process was a lot simpler. I wish we could say, this is a good project. Yeah, we have to. But I mean, we have involvement from, congressional offices. I mean, again, so it's very, very, you have a lot of oversight in any distribution or expenditure of funds. It is very, very tedious, but not only once those funds are awarded, then the oversight to make sure that that money is spent the way it is intended to be spent, that is crucial, and that takes a lot of work as well. So I'd like to say, yes, that money is well spent. These investments are, again, working with state governments, localities. These investments are making a difference in the lives of people in rural America.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate, I guess, a little bit for you.
Sure.
You're looking at some of these communities where, the industry that was there, that sustained there, is gone, especially in coal country.
Sure.
And it's not coming back. Why would you prop up a community that was built around an industry that's no longer there? What can you do?
Excellent question. I think one of the hardest decisions that you have to make is, when do you decide not to invest in a dying community? And these things, I mean, again, making a decision like that, I mean, it takes critical analysis, working with, again, the people on the ground, because you want to try to save almost every community, but you realize you just can't do that with the finite resources that we have.
Sure.
And certainly, recognizing being a good steward of funding and things like that. Like, you just can't fund everything. So you do have to make decisions that we can't invest in this. I mean, again, and when we do that, we also try to provide other opportunities, either educational opportunities for people in the community to learn another skill, another trade, to leave that. Not only is that prominent in coal country, but also in
rural
textiles.
America.
Rural America.
Sure, yeah.
You got a lot of textile companies that have
Down
closed
south,
down south throughout
Carolinas, right?
Absolutely. Where again, the textile industry. I mean, just they that was the economic driver. But what you try to do is to make sure that there are other opportunities for people outside of these industries. So sometimes we don't go back and invest in either the coal country or the textile. We said, hey, but here's another driver, entrepreneurship. Whether you have a business, some type of IT or something, or try to help individuals understand, that they have skills and talents and they could do a whole lot outside of coal.
Well, I spoke with tourism director from a county in Virginia, and they were talking about tourism being a big driver. It's not going to be the same as coal, but that's certainly a growth industry, especially in areas around New River Gorge in West Virginia.
Absolutely. I mean, because again, it's just much beauty, just so much beauty out in these areas. I mean, again, natural resources out in these areas. I mean, tremendous. I mean, just so much to do.
Bike trails, kayak trails, ATV trails.
Absolutely. I mean, over in the
I'll ask you, when was the last time you were on an ATV?
This weekend. I mean, so this weekend I was cutting the fence line up on my farm, and so I was doing it for work though, and so
a little bit.
Yes,
work, but it wasn't that bad. Don't forget about the cattle. Yeah. But it sounds like, for you, and I spoke with one of your other former colleagues, Cindy Axne, who was a guest on the show from the USDA.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
This is a department of the federal government whose sole purpose is to help people.
Yes. Absolutely.
Help people with health, help people with food, help people with nutrition, help people with safety, help people with housing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that's why when you talk to people in USDA, and the thing that I really appreciate about USDA, it's one of the least partisan. You have support from both Republicans, Democrats, Independents, because again, you recognize that you are actually doing such good stuff for people in all congressional districts. I mean, so
this sounds like good government.
And say, absolutely. You leave all the politics out of this. I mean, again, you
mostly
you try to be as nonpartisan as possible, and really just address the needs. I mean, so you mentioned Cindy Axne. I mean, out in Iowa, she's done tremendous things that with the rural communities in Iowa. But you see people at USDA, they love this work because they can see the difference that they are making on the ground, whether it's putting people in homes, safe, affordable homes, or whether it's providing health care. I mean, reopening hospitals. Now, I tell you, one of the things that really, really I'm just so excited about was when we were able to open rural hospitals. We were out in Tillman, Oklahoma, a hospital that actually had closed about 5 years ago. We were able to provide funding, and now they're reopening that rural hospital. The same thing up in Rugby, North Dakota.
Geographic center of North America.
Absolutely. That's how I'm able to remember that.
I play rugby. That's one of the things we do.
Oh, is that right? And one of the things too, and the name of the facility is the Heart of America Medical Center.
Okay.
But we were able to open that as well. So when you reopen an institution in rural America, not only are you improving the healthcare, but you're also improving the economics of that community, education in that community, and you're attracting people to come to and stay in rural America. So
are you concerned about some of these hospitals that are closing now?
Oh, very concerned. I'm very concerned about the big, beautiful bill, actually, because we really feel that that's going to negatively impact a lot of the rural hospitals and rural medical centers as well. And so, again, recognizing that people in rural America should have access to the same quality health care as anybody else in these metropolitan areas, that is very, very concerning to us who really care about these issues in rural America. So healthcare is a big issue. And so I'm very concerned about what's going to happen going forward.
I read a little bit about you before we got to talking. And one of the things that you did in your role at the USDA for rural development was you changed a little bit the workforce. You brought more workers in to provide more service.
Yes.
Can you explain that?
Oh, yes. No, absolutely. And I had the advantage of actually working at USDA in the Obama administration. I was a state director for the state of Virginia. And when we left USDA rural development in 2016, USDA rural development had about 6,200 people across the country, 6,200.
Not only in Washington.
Not only in Washington, no. And the majority of those people actually worked in the states. And that's what, again, that's what we really tried to focus on, having more people.
All 50 states?
In all 50 states and even some territories, U.S. territories. We also work in the Virgin Islands. We work in Puerto Rico.
You should probably go down to the Virgin Islands and see how that's going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I need to, absolutely.
Check that out.
I need to check that out. And, but when we left in 2016, we had 6,200 people. When it came back with the Biden administration in 2021, rural development was down to 4,127 people. Okay.
How did that affect your ability to do the work?
Oh, it really hampered our ability to deliver the services that the people needed on the ground.
So you cut jobs. And you delivered less services.
Oh, yeah.
And so what was the point?
Oh, yeah. No, and we just heard, avalanche of complaints. Again, we just heard people in rural America saying, where are the people? Because not only was there a reduction in the workforce, but also there was a restructuring where more of these people reported to Washington, D.C. than worked out there on the ground. Now, as you know, rural America, the last thing that anybody in rural America want to hear is to call Washington, D.C. Yes. That's the last thing. And so we worked to restructure that. What we were able to do, we hired about 900, just shy of 1,000 more people when I was there as the undersecretary. We just, because we realized that we were not able to deliver the services that were needed, that we were seeing. So we hired. And unfortunately, when we left in January, then there was a reduction. A lot of those people were let go. And in talking to the people at rural development here a couple of weeks ago, there's around about 2,000 people in rural development
are gone.
And so,
so less people, less services, less help.
Less help. And that's not the direction we need to go in. When we're talking about good government, and again, good government doesn't mean having just all the people that you want. It really is about having people that are needed to provide the services that we're obligated to provide. And so you can't replace that human critical thinking. You can't replace that with AI or these kiosks. They're talking about having kiosks in a lot of these offices. And so again, rural folks, they want to look you in the eye. They want you, they want you to understand the issue that they're trying to address. And so I'm very concerned about the direction that we're going to go in with this reduction. But again, nothing can replace someone with the knowledge of working with country folks. And so again, that's what we aim. We brought the best and the brightest folks in. People from rural America. And that was the sad part about seeing these people leave, because the vast majority of people that we hired were from rural America, and they knew how to work in these communities. They know these communities. And why would you get rid of these people?
So it really is a cascading, flow of bad that just continues. You cut people who are from an area where they need the work and they can't help their neighbors, and it all goes south.
Right, it does. And then you just continue to see the trends that are negatively impacting rural America. Again, if there are no jobs there, if you're not getting the services that you need, then certainly the young people will start to leave. They just continue to leave. And so,
well, give us a reason to have hope. Give us some optimism.
Because you have you have a lot of the best and the brightest people there still in rural America. People with great solutions, great ideas that can change the world. And so I just think, just give them a little help, give them some investment.
All right.
And let them know that they are a critical part of this country. And so I'm excited about rural America. I'm all in on rural America.
And you're a cattle farmer. Let's talk.
Oh, cattle farmer. Oh, yeah. Black Angus beef cattle.
How did you get into the cattle farm business?
Well, I actually, my father is an educator. He was a school principal, but he
You did your homework at home?
Oh yeah, did my homework at home. Oh yeah, absolutely. And but my dad has 3 sons, and I think he wanted to make sure that he taught us how to work and kept us busy. And so we used to raise hogs as well. And but we got out of that. Hogs require a lot of attention, and but
cattle don't, Angus cattle don't?
Not as much. They can fend for themselves a lot. And but we raise Black Angus beef cattle in Buckingham County, Virginia. Buckingham County, Virginia is the geographic center of the state of Virginia. Okay. And so again, it's just a cow-calf operation. How
many head?
It's less than 100. We have less than 100 head of cattle. To be honest with you, we about 48 mama cows, and so when you have calves, it's just really something that I like to do, and now the cattle market is up, and yes, actually for the first time in a while, we actually are able to cover a lot of the costs of operating a farm, and so I just love being out there in the country and out with the nature and my fellow citizens.
How does being a cattle farmer, and I know that I guess you work this with your brothers and sisters. You're all together in this.
Sure. Yeah. I think it's primarily me. I think they give direction and guidance, but I think the work part falls to me.
Oh, all right. Does it help in your work?
Absolutely. I think
community development.
Certainly, being a farmer, you are exposed to ideas, because one thing that farmers do and ranchers, we talk to other farmers, other ranchers. We see what's going on in the market. We see what's happening in rural America. And so the feedback, the majority of the people that I work with on my farm, because I have several people that work with me and people work in the community, we're totally different political views. Totally different, but I love the conversations. They love the conversations. We could talk about anything, any political issue. It's always great to hear their side of the issue, and I always enjoy giving my side of the issue as well. So, and it helps humanize, that again, we're not political enemies at all. We're friends, because there's nothing that I wouldn't do for my neighbors. And there's, I'll give you a quick example. Back in July of 2019, there was a accident. A car actually ran through the fence of our farm. We have a fence running along the roadside, and a car had an accident, and it was late at night, midnight or something like that nature. And the sheriffs called me and said, "Hey, you got to come to this farm, because I don't live on the farm. You got to come and fix this fence." And so it takes me about 45 minutes actually to get up to the farm. Well, I got a truck and headed up to the farm. By the time I got there, my neighbors had actually fixed that fence. And they were still there. I had about a yard full of about 20 or 25 people. They came there first to check to make sure that nobody was hurt, but they had already patched that farm. Now, the thing that really is important about this story is that the majority of the people that were there past midnight, they were all races, all colors, all political stripes. Okay. They didn't say whether you're a Democrat, Republican, black, white, or what. They just saw another farmer in need, and they came up and fixed that fence. That's America. That's America to me. That's what I believe, that deep down, we're here to help each other. And so, I was just fortunate to see that happen in real life. So yeah, I think being a farmer really benefits. You're able to see the best of America as a farmer. And so I really take pride in doing so. Wow, that's great. Yeah. So your fence got fixed. I guess everybody had steaks that week. It did, absolutely. Well, absolutely. Steaks and beer. All right, well, that was the easy part. We could keep talking for quite some time, but I have to get to the hard part. Sure.
The Good Government Show is sponsored by Our. That's OUR for Our Community. Get involved. We hear that all the time from government leaders. Our co-brands with your government's name and logo. Your staff and the people you serve are connected and part of your community. From any device, your members provide reliable data and meaningful feedback. Ask a question like, do we want more parkland or better homeless services? More engaged conversations come through the Our app. Visit Ourco, that's OURCO.com, and book a demonstration. After you get done with this episode, hear more good government stories with our friends at How to Really Run a City. Former mayors Kasim Reed of Atlanta and Michael Nutter of Philadelphia, and their co-host, journalist and author Larry Platt, talk with guests and other mayors about how to really get stuff done in cities around the nation. Check them out where you're listening now or through their nonprofit news site, thephiladelphiacitizen.org/podcasts. All right, we have a questionnaire. I ask this of everyone who's on the show.
Sure.
First question, the hardest one. Yeah. Define good government.
Good government. Well, I think good government is when government is able to meet a need as the community sees it. And so good government, I feel, is being able to deliver services to help people address concerns that they are unable to address themselves.
If people are frustrated with government at the state level where you've worked and at the federal level where you've worked, what should they do? You've worked at both of those levels. What should they do if they don't like what they see in government?
Yes. I mean, the thing that I really appreciate, having worked at the state level and at the federal level, state government, you're closer to the people. And then even local governments, you're even closer to the people. I always tell people, if you have concerns, make your concerns known first, certainly either at the local level, state level, and certainly, I mean, if your federal government is not addressing your concerns or things that you see needed, let your voice be heard. Or not only that, run for office or campaign against somebody who's not addressing your concerns. But make sure you understand the issue. One thing I think, David, is that we hear a lot about how bad government is and that government, isn't doing X, Y, and Z, or even worse, that we don't need government. And I think we need to do a lot to try to address and counter that narrative because, that narrative.
We're trying.
Yeah,
we're trying.
It runs deep. And so.
We're trying here at the Good Government Show.
Absolutely. And so that's a big issue. And you hear it that, again, we don't need government. But what we see, government plays an important critical part in almost every aspect of your life.
What drew you to public service?
Well, one thing, growing up in a household where my parents were always civically engaged, I tell this story about growing up in Southside Virginia. Again, it's central Southside Virginia, where, and again, I grew up in the late 60s or early 70s. The country was going through some turmoil, some things. And
Vietnam, Nixon.
Oh, yeah, Nixon. And then in Virginia, we had what was called massive resistance to integration. People didn't, there were some political leaders who did not want blacks and whites to go to school together. And I was young, and I wasn't in school, but I knew the county adjacent to Buckingham is Prince Edward County, and they closed their schools. And anyway, there were just some things that are going on. And as a kid, I could see that there were a group of public people, officials, who didn't want blacks and whites to go to school together. I didn't quite understand all that was going on because, again, I was 5, 6, 7, just sort of looking at that. But then I also saw that there were a group of people actually at the federal level. And again, I didn't know, I just said the feds. And so there were a group of political people who wanted to include blacks and whites, wanted blacks and whites to go to school together. And here's what I say is that I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I knew there was a group of people who were trying to exclude me from going to school. And I knew there was a group of people that seemed to be good, that wanted to try to include us.
Right.
And what I tell is this, the quote by Maya Angelou is that, people will forget what you say, people will forget what you do, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And I knew that these people who wanted to be inclusive made me feel a lot different. And again, I didn't know what all that was about, but I just knew that there were some people who worked for government that wanted to try to do good by me and my community. And I'm like, wow, that's neat. And so when I went to college, I took a political science course. We had a professor that actually, professor said, don't even bring your textbooks. He was a retired, he was a congressman, and he also he was also in the Virginia House of Delegates. And he said, don't even bring your textbooks. He said, just bring a notebook and I'll tell you how politics work. I'll tell you how things get done in the government. And he just made it sound so fascinating. And so, when you see, again, firsthand that government can make you feel included. And then when you hear how government can make some things happen for you and your communities, then I said, I always kind of wanted to be where these decisions are being made. I want to be close. Governor Wilder, he was a former governor of Virginia, the first elected black governor in the United States. Right. Governor Wilder, he always would say, he's like, I didn't just want my slice of the American pie. He would always say, I want to have my hand on the knife that's cutting the pie. And so,
so you grabbed the knife.
So I grabbed the knife and tried to be close to the decision making.
Do you have a political hero who inspires you?
Oh, I think people like Tip O'Neill, I guess, and people on both sides of the aisle. We had a senator in Virginia, Senator John Warner. He was a big Republican, but again,
married to Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But he seemed to always be fair. I like people like John McCain, someone who said, hey, sometimes we just need to put politics aside and things of that nature. And certainly, President Barack Obama, he was very inspirational. I got the opportunity to work in his administration. And so it really is, trying to be a part of administrations that are really trying to institute good government. And so.
Did you always see yourself in public service? Were you president of the student council? Was this did you figure this is where you were headed?
No, I was always actively involved, but it was really behind the scenes. And I didn't see myself really in some of these positions that I am in as undersecretary of USDA Rural Development. I never really envisioned that. I was also the secretary of agriculture for the state of Virginia. And I've just been very blessed and very fortunate. I just knew I wanted to be a part of it. I didn't know to what extent.
State government, federal government, and past 8 years, a National Academy of Public Administration fellow. What should people know about government they don't know?
It makes a difference. Government makes a difference in your life day in and day out. And so a gentleman, he's almost 96 years old. He's from a place called Covington, Virginia. And he was speaking actually just about 2 weeks ago. And he was talking about the election of Eisenhower. He was just going way back. And he said, what people really need to understand is that government will control your life after you're gone, while you're living, and even before you are born. That it really plays an important part in the things that you're able to do while you're here and once you're gone as well. So you should really pay attention and be a part of it the best you can.
What's the best part of your job as rural development for the USDA?
Oh, it was always making a difference in the lives of the people we're there to serve. And just seeing the difference that you're making. The investments. Our portfolio was, again, about $234 billion. That's huge. We allocated about $40 billion annually. And so seeing hospitals being built, seeing broadband being expanded in these rural areas, seeing businesses open. And so just seeing the impact of the decisions that you're making and trying to restructure and making sure that government is there addressing the needs, that you can't, you can't understate how impactful that is.
Usually on this show, I talk to a lot of mayors and I ask them, what's the cuisine of your city? What's your favorite local dish? But for you, I'm going to say, what's your steak? Well, how do you eat your steak? What's the best kind of steak?
Well, I tell you, I'm a ribeye guy. I'm just, and
does anyone cook it better than you?
No. There are a few. I have some cousins, relatives that they can do some wonderful things in the kitchen, and and on the grill, and so. Do
you work the grill?
I do. I love to work the grill, but
so a ribeye.
Ribeye. And,
all right, quick. What's your ribeye recipe?
Oh. I can't disclose that, but most of what I like to consume certainly, is medium rare. It's not, it is, but you can't beat, I think, Black Angus beefsteak here in the United States.
All right. What do you do for fun?
Oh, I
ride your ATV around the farm?
Yeah, I work on the farm and try to convince my wife that I need another equipment, need something else that goes on the farm. And so, spending time there on the farm is really relaxing and just being outdoors with people.
So this is the Good Government Show. We always bring it back to good government. Give me some good government story that you can talk about that you were able to accomplish in rural development, USDA.
Oh, wow. Let me pick one of the many.
Okay.
I think we talked, again, what really inspired me was being able to open hospitals. And so recognizing that this hospital in Tillman, Oklahoma was closed, and working with the people on the ground. And what was very, very exciting about that hospital in Oklahoma was that it was bipartisan. One of a Republican state senator there led the charge along with some Democrats. But this was a needed facility in Oklahoma. And so being able to, again, provide that gap funding that made this project work for the developers and for the community, to me, it's just very heartening. And so I like that project. I talk about it a lot. Anytime we can provide better healthcare, and then really why that's important for me is I grew up as an asthmatic. Actually, and the closest hospital to where I was from is about an hour away, and so. I don't know if anyone has ever experienced not being able to breathe or having an asthma attack and having to go so far away for medical care. So I understand the importance of having good medical care close to where you are.
You are going to speak here at the National Conference for Napa on reflections on purpose, progress, and the path ahead. So,
yes,
tell us, give us some hope. What's the path ahead?
Oh, no, I think it's exciting times. I think it's exciting times. Again, I'm going to reflect on some of the good things, that we were able to accomplish in the federal government. But actually, I think it's always opportunities for us to do better. And so even though things are changing on the federal level, although things, there may be reductions, things will be different. But I also think that when things change, it brings opportunities for the best and the brightest thinking to come forward. And so I just think that, this is just an opportunity for people to realize, hey, government is important. Hey, we want to support what, whether it's rural development, we want to support what this government does. And so
I hope you're right.
I hope. And so we really have to change that narrative. We really have to communicate. We have to convince people that,
Well, we're trying here at the
and you're doing a great job of it as well. So
thank you very much. Basil Gooden, the former Undersecretary for Rural Development for the United States Department of Agriculture. Great to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for what you're doing. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. Want to hear more about good government? Check out another show I host, Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. I host the show with Brad Kavanaugh, Mayor of Dubuque, Iowa, and the immediate past president of the Iowa League of Cities. Together, we talk to leaders in Iowa cities. We talk about what works and what good government looks like in Iowa. Join us right here where you're listening now. That's Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. It was called the War to End All Wars, but it didn't. 3 royal cousins, all kings, one from England, one from Germany, and one from Russia, blundered their way into a war, a completely avoidable war that left millions dead in the trenches across Europe. Good Government Show executive producer Jim Ludlow details the blunders, mistakes, and bluster that started World War I that didn't end all wars. The book, The Royal Cousins, details the events and creates an alternative history. Imagine if World War I never happened. It didn't have to. Just read it yourself. Download the book today on Amazon. It's just 99 cents and a timely look at history. You can't replace people with AI or with a kiosk. Basil Gooden, the former undersecretary for rural development at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, says that's important, especially in rural America. People want to look someone in the eye, and it should be someone who knows their community and their way of life. That's important, he says. Sounds like good government to me. And it sounds like the Department of Agriculture does indeed help local government improve. All right, okay, steak. Yeah, I know, rare steak, but sorry. I want mine coming off the grill a little bit after it's rare. But definitely I agree on the ribeye. It's an excellent cut. Well, that's our show. Thanks for listening. Please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. And check out our website, goodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government in action everywhere. Join us again for another episode right here. I'm Dave Martin, and this is The Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is a Valley Park production. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are the executive producers. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershik. Please subscribe, then share us, and like us and review us. That's the best way to make sure we're able to keep telling these stories of our government working for all of us. Then listen to the next episode of The Good Government Show.
This podcast is part of the Democracy Group.